This is not the Church of Emmanuel, Christ of Latter-day Saints, of Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. It's that time of the day. Church news. Church news. 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2 says the Book of Mormon is in the learning of the Jews, which means the religion of the Jews, the Christ of the Jews, and the interpretation of the Scripture of the Jews. I don't see Christian anywhere in that. And yet, Spencer W. Kimball, 1982, another testament of Jesus Christ. Book of Mormon is not literal history evidence of the fact of literal history Jesus, because it was created by Constantine, Roman Emperor Constantine. So the church is automatically a fraud for anybody in the know. But the church doesn't want to teach Mormons this, obviously, because, hey Mormons, we're a fraud. Have you paid your tithing for the month? And yet there would still be Mormons. Well, we have to sacrifice. It's just a little bit of money. And that's why the state of Utah are the biggest suckers in the universe for frauds and scams, as reported by the world. They don't get it. What's in Utah that is not elsewhere in the world? The headquarters of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Why then are Mormons getting easily scammed more than other people? It's just these no-duh things that just eludes Mormons, even when they leave the church. You knew the church was wrong because they asked you to get the right feeling. And so you think that you just need to get the wrong feeling to know the truth? What? What? So last night's church news video, I covered how the church only talked about the Chilean wildfires, how members and neighbors and full-time missionaries are safe, and completely skipped the Caribbean, the Bahamas, and I saw Haiti in the news today has now been added to the list. And so there's some big problems that are going on around the world that the church is not informing Mormons about the condition of Mormons and missionaries around the world. And so it shows a hatred of the church that they just don't care about you. And so what happens today? See, I told you, people are watching my channel. They're spies for the church. Nelson, Travis said this today. I already grew up with siblings who were doing that to me. Mommy. Mommy. And so, yeah, the big news story of today, after last night's church news video, which I don't understand it, because it's only the charity one. 74 views in one day. Cognitive disassociation, Mormon doctrine of charity, feelings, blessings. Now granted, YouTube is such that they release my videos in 2 days. Maybe that's when breakouts occurs, after 2 days. I noticed a pattern lately. But still, I mean, you have investigator of Mormon studies, Jasmine, Egyptus Jasmine, 152 views in one day. That came after the church news video. Which, yeah. And then Who is Emmanuel, that I should know him, 88 views in one day. And so, wow, that's picked up views over the day. The LDS Mission Stories, the Patriarchal Blessing that I did 9 hours ago, is back up to 83 views. So it's picking up the pace to get 10 views per hour. That's normal. That's my measurement scale. And if I get more than 10 views an hour, I have a potential breakout video. The higher the hours and the corresponding, yeah, I can tell. And so Mormons cut themselves off from Zion, 22 views in 3 hours. It's fading. Barely begun. And so the brand new one that I just did, Jewish Mormonism 101, 6 views in 35 minutes. It's on par, which means low. And so, yeah, the church, Christ Church and World Food Program, where's the Church of Jesus Christ? Fund Emergency Response Center in the Caribbean. Well, that's great. Why don't you just say that El Salvador has a new president? It's the same one as before, but he got voted in again. Why not say that? Why not talk about local Catholic Church in Utah provides homes for the homeless? Isn't this the Church of Jesus Christ news? And obviously, they're purposely manipulating the title to deceive you, not to teach you like I do. And so, yeah, this is abusive. This is a follow-up to my Bednar video. Bednar comes out and says, it's all about the Mormon God. If everybody believes in the Mormon God, we'll all be at peace. And I have people coming to me and saying, that's not what he said. He said, regardless of what religion you believe in. And yeah, that's exactly the point. Are you illiterate? Do you have special problems? God. And so, yeah, this is where the church is trying to claim that I'm wrong. That don't listen to Travis. We're good. See? We gave a fish. They cannot prove that I am wrong about them. 1 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 2. It's all over, church. Quit while you're way behind and dug a hole too deep you can't get out of. Just because you've deceived Mormons into your cult group of occultism for apocalypse, and you're murdering them just like those other cult groups, doesn't mean you're going to own me. This is all about you guys, how you are easily fooled and suckered by the church. And this is the problem. Charity organizations require fish on a regular basis to be donated to them so that they can give fish to other people. And if you're going, fish, what the hell are you talking about? You obviously have never heard. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's actually incorrect and incomplete. But that's where it comes from. The church literally is giving donated fish and giving a portion, a very tiny portion, to the world. And you need to understand that they pushed this more frequently since 2019 in December, when the whistleblower for Ensign Peak Advisors became worldwide famous. As the church has been exposed, giving a little tiny itsy bitsy bit. Compared to the Pharisees with the widow, yeah, the percentage is far greater. What the widow gave compared to the church, not the Pharisees, and that was a huge gap, but the church, far richer than the Pharisees ever were. And there were an actual Pharisee group. They're not a fictional character of the Jewish author, like Jesus is. And so, yeah, this literally is the church confessing that they are abominable. And Mormons are angry with me when I say such things. They don't get it. They don't understand how they've been brainwashed, fooled, and conned by the church. You give the church. They keep the majority and only give a small portion, and it's only giving fish. They are not helping the Caribbean recover. They're not helping the Caribbean solve their crime problems, because that's what it's all about out there. Crime has escalated, violence. And they're talking about giving food? They need more than food. They need help. And our government's not doing it. And that's the problem, is that we have charitable organizations in the United States because our government has failed us. We pay taxes to our government for this purpose, to help Americans so that they don't suffer from poverty and homelessness and unemployment. And instead, the government does communistic programs to give fish rather than invest in Americans so that they can be self-reliant and not have to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, which is what the church's self-reliance program is all about. The church will never invest in Mormons. You have to get yourself out yourself. And the church condemns you by saying you got to be self-reliant. Just have more faith in Jesus. Keep paying your tithing. Prosperity gospel. It may not be until after you're dead. And you fall for it. The church is pure evil. And all he had to do was understand 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2, learning of the Jews. And you can't. And you get mad at me and you want to act like Nehor. Defend the church with violence and threats and trying to silence me and incite the mob against me and try to hurt me and cause torture and destruction and deprivations. And all I'm doing is trying to save your life here. Do you not understand this? It goes for you too, critics. You too are responsible because you got the wrong feeling, and you're both wrong because you use feelings and not science. And so, yeah, the church is merely giving to these charity corporations. They're not given to the people. And so they're paying the wages, the salary of the corporate board and the CEOs. Just like Gail Miller with the homeless shelters here in Utah. It's all about profit for individual rich people that the church can compromise to do them a favor, though. Gail Miller, what did she do? Well, she not only launders money back to the church through tithing, She also funded the Joseph Smith papers. Church wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for Gail Miller giving the church the money. And then they used a tiny little portion to do the Joseph Smith papers, and then LLC Corporation for the remainder in an offshore bank account, and they're investing in the stock market, violating SEC laws. Same pattern. That was Nelson's response in 2019. We do this with every source of income we have. Every source of income. They are not charitable. They do not want anybody to be pulled out of their emergency or impoverished conditions. They will not do it. And another response to me: honor the holiness of diversity, Ibu Patel tells young adults. This is separate but equal. It is a racist policy embraced currently by the progressives of the deep state Dems. They have long since wanted to keep everybody segregated, but voting for the Democratic Party. Separate but equal. And yeah, this is an abomination. We are the United States of America. You come to America, you give up your nation to be equal as Americans in the United States of America. You don't come here to overthrow our government and establish your nation. Yeah, and that goes for white supremacists too. And so here the church has gotten one of their agents telling young kids, young adults, embrace your segregation. And this is a response to the video I talked about with the Genesis ward in downtown Salt Lake that had to form their own congregation unapproved by the church before 1978. And after 1978, the church finally decided, hey, we'll just make you a ward. But it's a black ward. It's not a different language ward where we don't all speak the same language, so it's necessary to have a separate congregation because there's enough people who can all speak the same language, and the church publishes in different languages for people in those conditions. No, this is black, a different race, and the church still segregates against blacks. The Genesis ward is that evidence. The church has not given up racism since 1978. And thus the missionaries who came to James and Jasmine exposed that the church is still racist and teaching it to generation after generation of Mormons, as the missionaries told James that he was a fence sitter in the premortal council in heaven, in premortal existence. So, the church cannot own me. It is you they're trying to fool. And then, of course, they're responding to the video I did a long time ago when they first announced that it was coming. Church, schools, and institutes date nights exceed expectations. Really? You had that low of an expectation? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So let's go over it. It's the doctrine in the keystone of our religion, or it's supposed to be, if we're the learning of the Jews of Joseph Smith. Alma, chapter 32, starting in verse 28, we are told that the word is to be likened unto a seed. You plant the seed, you produce the fruit. You now know the truth of that one word. And then you go line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, until you know it all. That is what Moroni is actually saying. Manifest the truth. Through, they use the word by, the power of the Holy Ghost. The Word, which is the Spirit. The seed. And so, they had a night where all the church schools and institutes were having date night around the world. And are we seeing any fruits of that? They say we are. It exceeds expectations. So marriages, right? Right? One night, one date, marriages. They planted the seed and instantly produced the fruit of marriage, right? That's how we can judge whether it exceeded expectations. Just having people attend, we don't know any results yet. It's like going to a speed dating. And nobody bothers to say, I'd like to get to know this person more. Everybody just goes the one time and don't put in any follow-up. That's what this is. The one-time thing. Great. Everybody went there. They shared feelings, communal experience, and then they all went home. There's no time for marriage yet. Unless things have quickened since I was young. It could give me hope. But it's the younger generation that are doing this. The older generation are still of the generation that I was when I was younger. They just think that you're dumb. That's all it is. They go, Travis said this. Oh yeah, well, we'll put this in. Now you can feel better. Oh, thank you. I do. Church is true. That mean old Travis, we showed him. So, dear God, catch on, people. Catch on. You could do Dream On.